have been satisfied. Notice of this meeting was properly given by transmission to the Asbury Park Press and the Two River Times by posting at the Municipal Township Building and filing with the Township Clerk on January 9th, 2026. Committeeman Clark. Committeewoman Kratz.
Here.
Committeeman Sedambrino. Deputy Mayor Hybel.
Here.
Mayor Perry.
Here.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, I'd like to ask for a moment of silence to honor the troops serving worldwide defending our constitutions, freedoms, and way of life. Thank you. Our first item on tonight's agenda, we have introduction of proposed ordinance 2026-3527, an ordinance authorizing acceptance of deeds of permanent easement for installation and maintenance of utilities upon block 1131, lots 30.01 and 32.02.
Motion to introduce.
Second.
Committeewoman Kratz.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hybel.
Yes.
Mayor Perry.
Yes.
Motion carries to pass this ordinance on first reading with a public hearing to be held August 17th, 2026. Our next items on tonight's agenda are the known action items. We have a resolution 26-221, a resolution appointing Timothy J. Cunningham as Township Administrator and Director of Public Safety and authorizing employment agreement.
I'm gonna make a motion, but I'm gonna make a brief comment. It's extremely hard, and our next meeting is going to be even harder, because after 40 plus years in municipal life, Tony Mercantante, our longtime township administrator, is going to be retiring, a well-deserved retirement, and I'm going to have a big speech at our next meeting, whether he likes it or not. Yeah, you can skip it. But after a very lengthy process, one that has gone on for probably close to 8 months at this point, we have found our next administrator. But I just want to say, before we take a roll call vote here, it has been my absolute privilege and honor to work alongside Tony Mercantante for 9 years now. And I have learned a tremendous amount from him, because of him, because of the man he is, because of the leader that he is. And while today's vote is to appoint his successor, Tony, it has been my absolute privilege to work alongside you for these many years, to have known you for even longer than that. I'm going to miss you. I'm going to save the rest for our next meeting. But Tony, it's been an honor, my friend. So I'll make a motion to resolution 26-221.
Second.
Committeewoman Kratz.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hybel.
Yes.
Mayor Perry.
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt resolution 26-221.
And I just want to say, Tim, our next administrator, Tim Cunningham, is an incredible individual. Like I said, it's been a very long process, and we're fortunate to have him coming on board and to step right into Tony's shoes. An attorney, former director of local government services, longtime administrator, both at the county and municipal level. But once again, Tony, appreciate everything that you've done. So thank you. All right, Heidi.
Okay. At this time, I'd like to ask the Township Committee if you'd like to adopt a consent agenda, which would include resolutions 26-222 through 26-227.
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Committeewoman Kratz.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hybel.
Yes.
Mayor Perry.
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt consent agenda.
Okay. Township Committee comments. Committeewoman Kratz?
Thank you, Mayor. Just real brief, I just wanted to congratulate the fire department. All of the fire department held their Touch a Truck event last night, and it was wonderful. It's always such a beautiful event. It's wonderful to see our families come together and our children get to enjoy all of the equipment and meet our firemen and women and our emergency services, our folks, and it's really a special evening. So I just wanted to congratulate them on another successful evening for sure. Mayor and I had the privilege, in addition, on Saturday to welcome a new business into town, which is always also a wonderful thing. LeGrand Coffee House opened, which shares the same parking lot as the ShopRite. So I would encourage all of you to attend. If you don't know, Eric LeGrand is a young man who was paralyzed during a Rutgers football game. He's a Rutgers player, a wonderful young man. So a testament to resiliency and perseverance and just a beautiful family and a great business. And we're excited to have him here in town. So I would encourage you to offer your support and enjoy a cup of coffee there. It's really a great spot. Thanks, Mayor.
All right, DM.
Mayor, I'm going to hold my comments. Tony, you'll get a bunch next meeting.
All right. I echo Committeewoman Kratz's comments. I want to thank Eric and his entire family for choosing Middletown. I've been begging for 16 months for him to pick Middletown for his second location, and I'm glad it finally opened up. So appreciate him seeing the vision and coming to Middletown, certainly. And to our fire department, despite what sounded like a catastrophe of weather coming our way, certainly hasn't panned out that way the last 2 days, thankfully. But it was a great turnout for the men and women of our fire department. So I just want to thank them very much for what they did yesterday for their 4th annual Touch a Truck. With that, I'll open it up for public comment. Any member of the public wishing to make a public comment may do so. We ask that you state your name for the record and that you keep your comments to 5 minutes. At 4 minutes, Heidi will let you know that you have 1 minute remaining. With that being said, any member of the public wish to make a public comment? Go ahead, Maureen. Hello.
Maureen Kramer, Belford. A month ago, I was at one of the meetings. I discussed the problems with the sidewalks between Hopping Road and the sidewalks in Leonardo past the overpass. And I left a packet, this packet for each of the committee members and for you, Mayor, with the pictures.
We did receive, yes.
Okay. So at that meeting, you told me when you got this packet that you were going to get in touch with me. I also offered to walk that distance with anybody if they wanted to join me, and I haven't heard from anybody. So my question tonight is, what is the status with the sidewalks, especially the sidewalk that was damaged by Jersey Central Power and Light?
Ted and I actually went through and looked at the sidewalk conditions.
Mhm.
Again, they are a part of an ongoing project. I don't know if Tony knows what the.
That they're going to be doing at
Yeah.
East Road.
Do you have can you give an estimated timeline on it or no? Okay. Okay.
Okay. Okay, but this doesn't have anything to do with the county project. This is between Hopping Road and East Road, not at the intersection. There's a right-of-way that's owned by Jersey Central Power and Light between Hopping Road and Roxbury Road, which is off of East. They did all their $133 million project we had put up with that nonsense for months. And they damaged the sidewalk to a point where it was the first picture in the packet of 24 pictures I gave you, where you can't even walk. That's not part of the Monmouth County project. That was the sidewalk that was damaged. It's right in front of their right-of-way with their tons and tons of equipment and trucks that they had.
Well, I have a meeting with the CEO of Jersey Central Power and Light on Friday.
Mhm.
So I'm to do a debrief on their response from the last storm that we had. So I will absolutely have them replace that sidewalk if the easement is theirs.
Okay, and then where the sidewalks are, where they put the telephone poles in the middle of the sidewalk,
Mhm.
right by the school, is that going to be addressed too with Jersey Central Power and Light?
Tony and I were just talking about this, actually. Go ahead, Tom.
No, that's a part of those poles were moved, having to do with the rewiring of the light at that intersection. They do have to repair it, but right now it's under construction, so they're not gonna repair it while the intersection's under
Is that
construction.
gonna be done before the children start school in September?
No, don't think so.
Okay, then I would suggest that there be a police officer there because of the situation I explained at the last meeting that I came to, where the woman came out in the traffic, 40-mile-an-hour traffic, with a baby carriage, because you can't walk on the sidewalk there.
We can certainly have our traffic along with the county traffic and engineering department do figure out some type of
Mhm.
safe mechanism to ensure that it's properly guided as kids are
Okay.
going.
They can build a safe route around those poles, they just didn't do a good job of it, they did a terrible job of it. What's in place now, so that can be redone so that it works
Yeah.
and is safe.
Well, in the morning when there's school, you do know there's cars parked there, people dropping kids off, so that makes part of the problem. The other problem was, especially in the Leonardo section, where there are no curb ramps on the sidewalks, they're just really high curbing. And I wanted to know what was going to be done about that. And all the other issues that I had listed in there, the water companies, whatever that is, it's some kind of a cap that's in the middle of, I found 3 of them with the sidewalks all broken up and some of the streets that do have ramps, but they're broken and crushed.
You're talking about the ADA ramps.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when is that going to be done?
They're done as they were pre-installed prior to ADA requirements. So that's why when we do our sidewalk program, all the ADA requirements have to be done when those are being done.
Oh.
The ADA law, I know you spoke about it last time,
Right.
and Mr. Nelson can interject if he wants. But those are all done as we do the sidewalk improvements. I think 2 meetings ago we awarded the sidewalk program. So like all the sidewalks that are happening under this program
Right.
will be ADA accessible.
So do you have any time frame for when that's going to be happening?
The ones in Leonardo?
Mm-hmm.
Ted would have to answer that.
You have to, if you give me the intersections, I'll take a look and see if we can put them on this.
Okay.
I'll give them the packet that you gave. me.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Maureen. I saw hands raised. Come on up, sir. He had it. I'm going to come right to you next, okay? How are you today, sir?
Very good, how are you?
Good, thank you.
My name is Glenn Keygirl. I'm a Middletown resident. I'll try to keep the question as quick as possible.
No problem.
Years ago, as a realtor, and I met a guy that used to buy houses at sheriff sales and foreclosures. He'd fix them up and sell them. And he was also a licensed builder. So he would look for land. He looked for vacant lots that met the zoning requirements. And, he'd put a house on it. And then he'd list it with a broker and wait for a buyer to come by. He was known as a spec builder. So we were always looking for vacant land to build a house and, sell it. As opposed to, somebody like Toll Brothers where you sign a purchase contract before you build a house. So my question is, there's a vacant lot on Arthur Drive. It's 120, I think it's 125 feet of frontage and it's 100 deep. And the baseball fields are at the end. So I'm sure over 80 years, spec builders have driven down the road, saw that lot and said, that lot's, might be, I could probably build on that lot. And the township must have had questions from spec builders over 80 years, whether, inquiries about, vacant land. And now all of a sudden I noticed that after 80 years, it's up for sale. So I was wondering, why is that? Why didn't it sell, 50 years ago? Why it wasn't available and now it is?
Why? Yeah, well, I'm not, are you talking about the property?
The online auction it's going on.
Yeah, over by Bodman, yeah. Why is it up for sale now?
Yeah, there's five lots up for sale.
The First of all, the township normally forecloses on quite a few properties all across town. Just because it's been there for 80 years doesn't technically mean that I don't know when the town acquired the property.
About 80 years ago, it was dedicated to the town by the Bobbins.
If it was dedicated for the purposes of open space,
Well, they put baseball fields there, so.
correct. There is a parcel on Arthur Drive that is dedicated and is on our Rossi.
It's on a what?
Oh, it's called a Rossi, which means that it's protected for open space. It's 3 houses down from.
Right, yeah, that's not the lot I'm talking about.
You're talking about the one a little bit farther down.
Right.
Yeah. Well, we put several of the properties up for all.
Yeah,
the town.
there's 2 on Market, there's, no, 3 on Market, 2 on one side, 1 on the other, there's 1 on Patterson. Then there's 3 others down in Port Monmouth or.
Correct.
No.
Correct. Because these properties come into the possession, and unfortunately, when there is a tax foreclosure, these properties come into the possession of the township, but they're not for public.
No, this was
purpose.
dedicated and they're tax exempt. There are no taxes, I don't think. It's vacant land.
There actually are taxes. The township of Middletown.
Township owns it. It said it's exempt.
That's actually not true. When property is owned, even by nonprofits, for example, if you're not using that to further the purpose of your nonprofit, that is a taxable lot. That is not exempt from property taxes. The township is actually not exempt from property taxes on property that we have identified and are not using for the purposes of open space or preservation, wetlands, environmental things like that have
1
been
minute remaining.
identified. So these lots that are up are in R10 zoning, which means that you have to have 1 single family house on a 10,000 square foot piece of property.
Yeah, I'm aware of it. Yeah, I know. But my question is they were never sold before. Why now?
Well,
why weren't they
at
put up for
36, I can't really tell you why 80 years ago it was decided. But the township, unfortunately, in quite a few areas, and far too often, Mr. Nelson has to send letters to individuals that are utilizing property both that is protected and is not protected, because neighbors often will infringe on other pieces of property, and they'll build sheds and they will cut down trees and things of that nature. It is constant. It is not unique to one part of town or another part of town. And these properties right now are, like I said, 18 of the houses in this area are conforming to the R10 zoning. And the township it can't just hold on to foreclose. Taxpayers paid to foreclose on these certain properties. And
I don't understand that part because they were donated by the Bobbins to the township.
this property was not donated. The property that you're referring to was not donated.
Oh, really?
It was not donated.
I
And
didn't
if it has to go through title search, correct, Mr. Nelson?
Yeah, any buyers?
None of these properties that are subject, so we do property auctions every few years. This is a regular routine occurrence that happens
a lot of times.
every few years as the township aggregates enough lots to hold an auction. We hold an auction. I think we did the last one 5 or 6 years ago, and sold dozens of properties throughout all different portions of the town. They're not properties that are preserved on the Rossi. They all have title checks on them. We can't sell those properties, obviously. The properties are sold as is, where is. We make no representations to any of the people buying them as to what they can or cannot do with them. Some might have encumbrances of some sort. We don't know. That's up to them to figure out. If you're taking a risk, if you bid on these, you're taking a risk. You have to do your own homework to determine whether or not you can do anything with it or not. Sometimes neighbors will buy them. Other times developers want to build a house there will buy them. It's all different people that bid on these lots. And they're throughout the township, and it's a routine occurrence that when we have a certain number of lots that are not contributing to the tax base and are a liability to the township, because right now if a tree falls and hits somebody, or somebody slips and falls, or somebody starts using it as an extension of their backyard now, which is a problem that occurs a lot, then it becomes a liability to the township. And so these are liabilities that are already, and the township estimates these property sales in the township budget that was already adopted this year. So there's a line item in the budget in anticipated revenues that anticipate the sale of these properties to help lower taxes. And if they're not sold, then the tax bills could go up. So there's anticipated revenue in the municipal budget for the sale of properties that have no other purpose. When there are properties that are, directly adjacent to, or probably we've bought hundreds of acres of open space just in the last few years. If they're properties that are useful for a park or something like that, then the township saves them and preserves them. And there's, in fact, more acquisitions coming this year as well that we're working on. But these are all properties that are too small for a park, don't have parking or other ability or other facilities, or, wouldn't make sense there's no other public purpose or use for these properties, which is a threshold determination under the law to be able to put them out at auction. So.
Do you ever rescind some of these properties from being sold at an auction?
Well, they don't, none of them are sold until the township gets the bids and determines whether, so the township reserves the right to reject any and all bids. So if the township's not satisfied with the bids that are received, then it can reject. So the township will have to formally adopt a resolution accepting or rejecting the bids after they're received.
Is that the case over there in Bodman Park, that you have the ultimate say on whether or not the bid is,
We would have, yes, correct. If it's too low, then there's no point in selling it.
Because I don't know if what the, say, threshold is. I guess
Until it occurs, that's when we make a judgment call on that.
after the winning bidder is announced.
They don't win until we accept it.
Right. Okay. All right.
Thank you, sir. I'm going to come right to you after this gentleman, okay? How are you, sir? Good, thanks.
Paul Benfer, 17 Bayside Parkway. We were here in April at a meeting, and we inquired about posting parking signs at Ideal Beach at the parking lot, closing the parking lot. And we were told specifically that it would be early May at the latest Memorial Day, and that never happened. I went away for a few weeks, and when I came back,
Ted, are those signs?
No,
Janet's have
they're
it
not
printed
done.
right now, so they should be.
they're not, there's no permanent signs. I was told.
No,
Matter
they're
of fact, here.
temporary signs going up because we have.
Yeah,
to
but
amend-
then I have pictures of them. Could
Yeah,
I
yeah.
distribute these?
We have to do an ordinance.
I
to
know,
make the
I know.
Times enforceable.
I know, that's why I'm here.
But the temporary signs will be up until we get.
Janet,
And then we'll get the permanent signs up.
Janet,
The signs that were put up are here along with Janet Delott's email comments back.
Janet is going to be speaking at the next township committee meeting, I believe, Tone, to as a discussion item to bring all this up.
Okay, well, the issue, the issues for us are that we were told these signs were going to be posted. Nothing was ever done. And when I contacted in late June, early July, I contacted the Parks Department. I was told that no one had communicated back to them that they were going to update and post signs. Now, if you look at the pictures on the back there, what they did was there was 2 different parking hours listed, and you can't even read it because they added it to a list of the, see, he's got it, look how he's looking at it, trying to read it.
He's just blind to begin.
I'm blind too. That's why I'm using these reading glasses.
Yeah.
But, nothing was there was a disconnect somewhere from sometime in April until now. We still don't have the signs. And then they were talking about.
The township committee, because of
It's an ordinance. I understand that. Are you is the ordinance on the docket tonight or no?
It will be on the docket on August 17th.
Okay, so will it be after August 17th? Will it be implemented?
It will be introduced and adopted. It'll be adopted the first meeting in September.
Okay, so that's the opposite of what I was told. I was told that it would be introduced tonight and adopted on the 17th. If you turn it around, it's a direct quote from Janet on there on the process. So something we asked, very simple that we asked for in April. We're just parking signs showing that the parking lot closes at whatever time, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, whatever, year round. Okay.
Correct.
there, where what was posted there, if you can read it, says just through Labor Day. And then there's another hour, parked there. Nobody's reading that, okay? No one can see it. So I don't know what the temporary signs are gonna, look for, or how they're going to manifest themselves when you put them up. But, I'll be over there looking at them because I'm retired.
The reason that you have to make the ordinance change.
Yeah, because you initially said it via ordinance, so you have to modify it, correct?
Correct, because it's
Okay.
not enforceable. So the police department would not be able to enforce the rules
Yeah.
without the ordinance going back to.
Okay.
That,
So what happened from April until now?
with what?
Well, April, you said it was going to be taken care of.
When Mr. Nelson then researches the ordinances and then sees
Okay.
the inconsistencies.
Okay.
In April,
Okay.
if the ordinance was consistent, you would have been able to post those signs immediately. When you see the inconsistency, you have to make those changes.
So why is it taking till August to do this then?
There's a lot of things that go into those ordinances. It's not just the hours.
I can't just.
I'm just asking a question. I'm just
I-
curious.
When we do our Parks and Recreation,
Yeah.
rules,
Okay.
there's a whole bunch of them, and they then have to apply to other parks.
Mm-hmm.
So then we have to list which parks apply, have certain hours, and
Okay.
which parks have different hours. So it's not just like, overnight, you prepare an ordinance like that. It's pretty complex, and you'll see, next week, there's gonna be a presentation, and the night we introduce that ordinance on the 17th. And you'll see there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. It's not just putting the time into an ordinance.
Well, if that had been communicated to us at that time in April,
Mhm.
or someone to follow up with us prior to me coming back from a long trip and discovering that the signs weren't there, then I wouldn't be here tonight questioning this,
Mhm.
okay?
Okay.
But there was no communication. There appears to be a disconnect here somewhere. And I'm just curious about it.
It's not a disconnect. It's
No?
making sure that it's consistent. You can't have inconsistent ordinances on the books because then they're unenforceable. And then the very thing,
I get that.
sir, if you'll
That's
just give me just a half a second, okay?
You got it.
You can't have inconsistencies in there. The minute that you have inconsistencies is the minute that someone's going to fight it in court, and then all the very people that you want to prevent doing something are not going to follow them because they know that they're going to be able to get away with it. Making things consistent across the board, having signs printed, making sure it's the right thing to do. If the ordinance had been consistent in April, we would have absolutely been able to post it right then and there. When Mr. Nelson then says that we have to make X, Y, and Z changes, when Janet makes recommendations on these things, you make them in one ordinance and you correct them all so that they're all consistent and all ready to go. I understand that you think that there's a disconnect, but there's a lot of things that happen behind the scenes that most people are never going to know about. Consultation with DEP in certain instances, making sure that they're approving and in line with the rules that we're making for these things. We apply to DEP for a lot, and we need to make sure that when we make certain changes, those happen.
All right, well, the current ordinance says that the park closes at 8 PM, correct?
The current ordinance says that the parks are open from dawn until dusk.
Oh, okay, well, that wasn't posted.
Yeah, that's a rule for all parks.
That's
It's
all-
not posted in
But
any-
it's not posted.
Right.
Oh, it's posted at some of the parks in
A
town.
couple, but
Yeah,
most
well,
places it's not.
We asked for it to be posted. We just wanted something there to protect us from people back
And
in
you have
and,
to also understand that the dawn to dusk parking restrictions for using the beach, except for you can't prohibit fishing.
I believe,
So just so you understand.
I understand that
people
totally.
fishing
I'm a
down there.
fisherman, I know.
So it won't apply to you.
Yeah.
But,
And to be honest, the other thing that I can't stand is 100 signs. Because you talk about not reading this, you have this sign pollution that is here.
Mhm.
Nobody pays attention to any of them.
Mhm.
When it drives me nuts that when you add certain things or DEP adds something that now we're required to do, the breathe easy law where you're not allowed to smoke in certain areas. Those are all things that then require signage and all these different things. And guess what?
I get it.
Then nobody follows them. No one even looks at them because nobody's going to sit there and read.
We just asked.
Fix signs.
Asked for a parking sign.
I
It's
understand.
gonna be more involved.
Yeah.
One other thing, just so you know, that's going to be added to the ordinance is requiring head-in parking only. Because I know some of the neighbors have complained about people
Yeah,
who back
they'll-
into those spaces. With
They
headlights.
back in all the
But now
time.
it's going to be specific on the sign that it's head-in parking only.
With new vegetation to prevent headlights, if somebody does not follow those rules, having a 36-inch hedge or vegetation to prevent headlights from being out. And normally in planning board applications, when you see these things, you require a 36-inch hedge of some sort so that you don't get those headlights going into people's homes.
Okay, and one other quick thing, we also spoke about the litter patrol there. How often is the litter supposed to be picked up in the parking lot? Then is it in the ordinance or does anybody here know?
It's not, I mean, I know that our Public Works Department
Okay.
rakes that beach.
Our litter hasn't been picked up in about 5 days. Okay,
Litter or the garbage? Can
Litter.
you're talking about?
litter.
Just litter.
And when I asked.
From the garbage cans?
No, from people throwing stuff on the ground because they're too lazy to walk 50 feet or 100 feet to the garbage cans. There aren't that many garbage cans out this year. There's some at one end of one end of the parking lot, and some at the other. There's nothing in the middle. Now, I have to say, this year, people are a lot cleaner than they have been because I've been there 6 years, the last 4 or 5 years. They're a lot better. But if park maintenance doesn't come and pick up the garbage, it builds up and collects. And we haven't had a pickup in front of my house. I have those photos too, if you'd love to see them, in at least 5, 6 days.
All right, we'll tell them to go.
All right,
Yeah.
so I mean, I see guys driving through with trucks and parking. You know, I see them park. I don't see them getting out picking up soda cans and beer cans. And then the other thing is, we asked you specifically, you know, we don't go out and pollute our own neighborhood. We don't throw litter and trash in the street. But I was told that the Parks Department would not cross that berm to pick up a can or a paper towel or a diaper or whatever is there. So I really don't understand that, but
I don't
Talking
understand.
about stuff in the street you're talking about?
yeah, stuff that blows into the street. You know, we get I don't know if you ever lived on the water, but we get a lot of wind. We get a lot of wind on the water there. We had a wind the other day, knocked over a 30
There's
foot.
absolutely no
bridge.
reason that they wouldn't pick up something that's across the street. That's ridiculous.
I've never seen them cross it once, and I've been there 6 years.
Okay.
Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Yes, ma'am. No. Hold on. Ma'am. No.
Hi, my name is Kim Zadigan. I'm a new resident of Middletown Township. When I moved here 3 years ago, I was pretty happy to see the land behind me. I remember buying the house and sitting in, well, before I bought the house, I was sitting in the kitchen with my partner and my 2 young kids, and we were looking out the window, and our decision in buying the house was that, you know, there was like this beautiful woods behind us that, of course, now we find out is being auctioned. So this is the same land that Glenn is talking about near Bodman Park. I understand that it seems like it's township land and that it seems like the township can do what they want with that land if that's their land and they own the deed to it. However, I have a few questions that I'm hoping you'll be able to help me understand a little bit more and just kind of be able to sleep at night, because I feel like I've been up a little bit, just trying to like put clues together and see what's going on with all of the land that's surrounding me and my kids.
Sure.
Thank you. So this is just my question on my phone that I'm looking at, but Mr. Nelson, you had mentioned when Glenn was talking that the land that was auctioned is being sold as is. In particular, for me, the land that affects me the most is block 974, lot 4. This is
and I'm sorry to interrupt.
974, lot 4.
No.
It's on Market Street.
Okay, Market. Okay.
Yeah, it's 100 by 300 approximately.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, I had so you said that the land is being sold as is, of course. What I have been researching when I'm up at night with, you know, my kids are like sitting here and I'm up on my phone trying not to let them see. But what I'm researching is that there are wetlands on the property. And when I had called the head of planning, she confirmed that. And so I started to kind of look through and I saw on the map that is from Middletown Township that this is deciduous wetlands. So this is necessary for the wetlands nearby, the water nearby, and the floodplain level, which I had talked to Amy about on the phone as a concern with my house. I don't want flooding. Some of us have basements, some of us are on slabs. Some of us have just put in sump pumps and French drains because there's so much flooding there. And that seems to be because, according to the Middletown map, which tells me that you guys know that there are wetlands on that property because that's on the Middletown site, documented. But if you're selling the land as is, and most of the property 974 lot 4 is wetlands, and you then likely have to build 50 feet from that wetland property, how are you saying that you can build a house on that property if you can't possibly build with the 50 feet plus? Because you're selling it as R10.
Yeah.
So you're saying that you can put a house on the property.
No.
That's the zone?
R10 is just a zone. It's
Okay.
it's an overlay on a map.
Okay.
This section of town is R zone, R10.
Right.
What Mr. Nelson was saying was that we say absolutely that there is no guarantee that you can build on there. That's on a potential buyer. I make no qualms that you have to be the one that can prove that you can do it. You have to go get DEP approval. You have to go get an engineer. You have to do all those things.
Right.
The township is not going to pay for those things.
Well, because the township knows that it's wetlands, that it's wetlands, because that's what Amy had said, and it's on your map.
What happens with the map is, it's very common to look at the map and say, this is wetlands. What any applicant would have to do if there was to get a letter of interpretation.
Of course, which
from
goes
the
to
DEP.
neighbors.
And the DEP would then make a determination as to whether or not there is wetlands on there.
Okay.
They make that final determination, and then they would provide that to somebody that says, yes, there is, here's a map, or no, it's not, and you're good to go.
And out of the goodness of your hearts, you guys know that you'll be able to sleep at night knowing that they're not wetlands possibly, and that you're not duping somebody else. Because I personally, I'm sorry, I hope it doesn't seem like I'm attacking, but my family feels really duped, and many of us do on the block, especially the newcomers, because this seems to be what's going to happen again to whoever buys that land, because it is wetlands. It has 100-year-old trees. It has like little baby deer families. This one family, there's 4 bucks in our backyard all the time. In that land, which is facing our backyard. So we consider that, but there's these little baby deer with the little Bambi spots. There's all of these. When it rains, like tonight, that property is going to pool up, and there's dips, and it's gonna pool up, and that's a good thing because it's sucking up the water so that we don't have flooding in the houses surrounding our area, which is actually in the Bodmin deed. That land is supposed to be taken care of. That the land that is in the deed that the township now has is supposed to be taken care of, including the water, the house, the lands around it. Because if you don't take care of this deciduous wetlands that's in block 974 lot 4, I'm presuming, if you don't take care of that on the 3 lots that are being sold that are wetlands, then you're not taking care of that property that is in the deed, which is the wetland property. Those
5
certain
minutes is
houses.
expired, so.
If it's wetlands, then no one's gonna bid on it.
Well, they won't know until they buy it. I thought that was the risk you were saying.
Well, again, we've had lots of auctions of properties and no one bids on them.
Okay.
So we don't make a representation about how buildable the property is. That's up to the buyer to do that. So
Mhm.
they may choose not to buy it. So what they will do most likely is anybody who's interested will send their engineer to walk the property. Because the maps you're looking at, by the way, they're not Middletown maps, they're state DEP maps.
Under your Middletown website, yes.
Yeah, they're on our website, but
Yeah.
we don't create
They're
them.
not our maps.
Well, you're supporting them on your website.
No, or that's,
Showing
it's,
you.
Well, they're just DEP's.
Okay.
And I can tell you, they're terribly inaccurate. We rarely find that what actually happens on a property reflects what their map shows. Sometimes it does, I'd say 3/4 of the time, it's pretty inaccurate.
DEP contradicts itself by
So-
saying one thing, but having their map say something different.
Yeah, so,
Okay.
they will send an engineer to the property, they'll walk the property, and they'll make an assessment for themselves how buildable it is or isn't. And that'll dictate how much they're willing to pay for it or not at all. Like I said, the last auction we did, I think at least 3 of the properties we had, nobody bid on at all.
So if I know my time is up. If I were to bid on the property, the beginning is 10,000, is that correct?
I don't
Is
know
that
if they-
starting at 10,000? Is there a
That's what they
start?
Put on the website.
Yeah.
They were gonna have a low value to start with, yes.
Okay, and then is there a max value because you have to take the highest bidder, is that correct?
Yes.
So is there a minimum value? Can I bid, let's say the minimum's 10,000, can I bid $10,001 and receive the property, or will you not accept
It's an
that?
auction. That's a decision of the township committee.
Yeah, that's what I mean. What is your
If somebody
decision?
bid during the auction.
What's your plan
There is-
of a minimum is my question.
There is no plan. Hu- the 10,000 is the starting point.
This
So
starting.
in this hypothetical question that you're
Yeah.
asking, if you were to bid 10,001 and you were the only bidder
Mhm.
and the township committee decided, well, no one is obviously interested in this property and we don't want it, the township committee, if a majority of the township committee sitting here said, sure, we'll take $10,001, the property would then be yours.
Or you could say no.
Correct.
Got it. So you're in control.
Correct.
Got it. Okay. Of
Just like anyone else that
Owns
is
the property. Of
buying or selling a piece of property.
course.
We can take an offer or we don't have to take an offer.
Right. Okay. Well, thank you for your time. I really appreciate your
No problem.
clarity in this important issue. Thank you.
No problem, miss.
Thanks.
Yes, ma'am. I'm gonna come to your benchmate next, all right? How are you today?
Good, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Good evening, Mayor Tony Perry and
How are
the
you?
rest of the committee. My name is Peggy Figurley, and I live at 7 Eagle Place in Port Monmouth. It is directly across from the proposed development site that the township plans to auction off. This parcel is not a vacant land or an empty right-of-way. It's an intact, highly functional ecosystem with vegetated coastal dunes, active wetlands, and an active wildlife and a corridor direct to the Raritan Bay. Excuse me, I have to turn the page.
Okay, take your time.
It has many layered wildlife community as a nesting and denning ground for foxes, coyotes, deer, groundhogs, and raccoons. It also sits directly on the Atlantic Flyway coastal boundary, providing a habitat for birds, including the great horned owls, eastern screech owls, mourning doves, great egrets, snowy egrets, and green herons. Selling this land to a private developer will cause severe consequences to our community. It will, number one, displace wildlife and cause habitat fragmentation. Secondly, it will destroy permanently the wetlands root system and dunes, which are natural storm and flood buffers. This increases the risks of local flooding and coastal erosion to the Port Monmouth neighborhood. I also wanted to state for the record that an immediate review by the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection, Endangered and Non-Game Species Program and the Division of Land Resource Protection be done. This land falls under the state's Coastal Area Facility Review Act and the Freshwater Wetlands Protection Rules. So these things need to be done. On a more personal note, when I bought my home here 14 years ago, I was told that building on the parcel was not permitted as it was given to the Port Monmouth as protected wetlands. After working for 22 years as a PTSD and trauma counselor before retiring, this home became my sanctuary as well. Helping others recover from the Twin Towers attack of 9/11, family losses due to overdoses, accidents, murders, and other traumas, I knew I could come home, sit on my porch, look across the street, and see life at its best. In the greenery, the deer, the foxes and birds, and most of all, the quiet. It has become my refuge, safety, and healing space. I urge this committee to pull this parcel from the auction block immediately.
You have a minute
Put
remaining.
that together.
You have 1 minute remaining.
My name?
You have 1 minute remaining.
Okay, sorry about that. I'm on my last page. Don't trade our natural storm protectors, our wildlife habitats, and our community and my refuge, safety, and quiet for a short-lived and short-term financial gain. Let this land be preserved. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, ma'am.
Mayor.
How are you?
Members, hi. I'm Tina Fry. I live at 269 Seabreeze Avenue in North Middletown, so right across from Phyllis. There's a lot of our neighbors are here tonight because everyone is very concerned about the flooding that could happen in development of this property. So and some of the questions were answered, so I'm going to skip around a little bit.
Okay.
We're here tonight about that auction of that property on Bayside Parkway between Hagel Place and a Paper Street, Bayview Avenue, and Seabreeze Avenue, where it dead ends. That's also, well, part of it has been vacated, but part of it is still there. Block 17, Lot 1. So we're just all curious as to why the town would sell this beautiful piece of property that's located right on the beach. And I know that, and it's owned by Middletown. Ideal Beach is owned by Middletown too. It's very adjacent to it. And I know you, Mayor, that you're a very big proponent of open space, as are some of the committee members, I believe. And we just received that budget overview in our tax bill. It says that your acquisition, Middletown has protected 15.4 acres through the acquisition of various properties. So I'm just confused why you would try to acquire new properties for open space when we have this beautiful piece of property right on the beach. It is unimproved, it's wooded. I mean, I understand what he said about liability, but I was thinking there's not really any maintenance because it's woods. And the tenure of the land does go up. And it protects the neighborhood from storms and from flooding. And we do have still a lot of flooding on Seabreeze Avenue. There's a creek that runs right where Seabreeze Avenue is there in the front of this property. And that always backs up and comes up the street. My neighbor's daughter's car got flooded out the last storm we had. And so that creek floods right onto Seabreeze Avenue and into the dead end street. And we believe clearing this land would substantially impact the neighborhood. We'll also urge the committee to pull this parcel from the auction block and don't let our natural storm protection, and wildlife habitats be endangered. And why couldn't we work with like Open Space or Monmouth Conservation Foundation or the County Open Space Program if the Middletown doesn't want to be liable for it? I just had some pictures of the property and the
If you want to leave,
tax
you
land.
want to leave them right at the end there,
Sure.
I'll grab them on the way out.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
No problem. Yes, sir. I'm sorry, wait, did I? Yeah, I didn't promise anybody else, did I? Come on down, sir. I'm starting to lose track of who I said yes to.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor.
How are you?
Good.
Yeah, I'm gonna come to you next, okay, ma'am?
My name is Joe Colacerdo. I live at 107 Woodgate Road. I'm here to question or comment the land auction as well. Different property though. I recently found out the Route 36 and Wilson Avenue commuter lot
Yes.
is going to be auctioned. I use that lot in addition to probably 30 other regular commuters every day. And just talking to some of them tonight and this morning, we're all kind of wondering what's the thinking behind selling the largest commuter lot on Route 36. You know, it's
Moving it.
moving it. Okay, that's moving it where? Is it known yet, or is it further down the road, or is it going to be combined with another?
Can we say yet or no?
Yeah, we're talking to another property owner. First of all, we did a survey over a period of a couple of weeks, and that averages about 15 cars, and there's 100 spaces in the lot. So
It is summer, so I want to say it is light.
we did it in the spring.
Okay, I mean, but on a good day, there's 25 or 30 cars.
Sometimes, but
You're going to Monday or Friday, not so much.
We're working on a location that will replace that parking, but I can't say because we're negotiating.
Not far
with the
away.
property
Okay,
Not
and I know there's parking at, by the Gems Bagels on Main Street and the other
We
Thompson.
used to have that. We don't have that.
Oh, you don't? Okay,
We don't have that lease anymore.
okay, what about Thompson is still there?
owner. Still there.
Yeah.
But that's a small lot. I think it's only 30 spots,
Correct.
Yeah,
so,
but again, it's never even close to full.
right. Okay, so that was just my concern of what,
Yeah,
we're,
You'll have
It's not being eliminated.
Okay.
It wouldn't be eliminated where you would have no option.
okay, that was my concern.
Yep.
Crystal clear.
All right.
Perfect, thank you.
You
All
got
right,
it. No
good night.
problem. Yes, ma'am.
Hello, my name is Linda Avelenda, Avelenda. I live at 5 Bayside Parkway, Middletown.
You became
New
Brian
Jersey.
Nelson's friend after spelling your last name like that, just without off the cuff like that. Go ahead. How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you. I hope everyone is well, everyone is well. I was here in April at the last meeting in front of the Ideal Beach. And I had requested if it was possible for them to put lines so people would park in a way that would be easier for the residents that live there, including myself.
Yes.
I live at Block 1, Lot 1.
You're the OG then. Block 1 light.
I think
lot one?
it is.
Wow.
Anyway, my point is that I also have some photos. I will leave this for
Just leave
you.
it right down there. Yeah.
I hope you will be able to read it.
To lot 2.
Lot 2, Block 2, I'm sorry. Okay,
All right,
anyway.
number 2 is all right.
I'm happy there. The way, there's no signs as you come off Ocean Avenue that people sometimes drive against the traffic,
Yes.
which it's not a lot. It's really very few every day, but there is a few. And that concerns me that there can be an accident. There was an accident there yesterday, day before yesterday. I called the Middletown police, but it was just one of those, I guess they bumped into, one car bumped into the other one. For some reason in front of my house, it's prime parking. A reason that I'm saying that, because the car is.
Block 2, lot 2. Who didn't want to park in front of that one?
Because the woman that parked there, which had the incident, the first car, which I have photos of it, wound up stopping when they saw the parking space, and I guess she was just going to pull in there. Ultimately, she did pull into that spot after the incident, but the police came and there was nothing because they all said there was no accident. And there was, because I have proof of it, which is really no big deal. But my concern is this: my driveway is very narrow. So as I pull out, if there's a car parked right to the edge of my driveway, and there's also the house next door, which is the only ranch house on that block, it makes it very difficult to pull out. we have to go around the one car to make a right-hand turn to leave. And ultimately, we have to back up at least twice to do that. If there's a car coming in the opposite direction, it will definitely run into me. And sometimes, even though I can see beyond that, and there's more than one person that owns a car in the house, even though I can see beyond that, depending on the size of the car or how tall it is, you can't really see.
Ted, just so you know, Ted and I did discuss this, and Ted did come up with a painting plan for the curbs over there to prevent people from parking, so that there's no parking areas over too close to people's driveways.
Paint the yellow curb.
So they'll paint the curb, not allowing street
Yellow?
parking. Yellow.
Which is the only thing, I even requested that if the township permits me, I'll even buy the paint and do it myself.
We got you on the paint. We'll take care of the
Okay.
paint for you.
And second of all, just so people know that they cannot drive against the one way
It's the one
that we
way.
have for the summer.
You know, on that topic, just since we have some Bayside Parkway residents, one of the problems is that people's GPSs don't know that for the summer, it's only one way, so they send them the wrong way. So in some cases, it's kind of an innocent mistake, but some cases it's not. But what would you think about making the one way year round? Would that bother anybody?
That would be fun.
Yeah, well, but I think it would be much easier to enforce, because now we can say you can't use the GPS excuse anymore.
Apple
So
Maps will
We've talked to
update
the
it.
police department. They're totally in favor of it.
Yeah.
We were actually going to set up a meeting with the Ideal Beach Community Association to kind of ask the neighborhood what they thought, but I'm glad we were 3-0 with you guys here, 4-0.
Hold. Hang on one second. Let me just, I just want to let you wrap up your comments here so that there's not.
So ultimately, my concern is my coming out of the driveway and getting hit, or the other
So
driver
before you leave,
himself.
I just want to take your phone number. I'm not going to make you say it into the microphone here. So I'm going to take your phone number, and Ted is going to call you with an update so that he can tell you when the painting company will come in.
The ranch between my house and the house next door.
We have to take into consideration all the driveways. That's why there's a calculation.
Okay, okay. It's really a spot where you could park, but the problem is when I come out, you can't see. It's like this monster here, and you're trying to see, but by the time you see, it's too late. You're already out and they already hit you.
I 100% got it. Ted, you'll.
I will leave this.
Yep, just leave it right down there, and we're gonna get your phone number before you leave, and Ted will update you on the painting. Okay? All right?
Thank you so much. Thank you for your
You
time.
can give it to Heidi. Yes, sir.
Mayor?
How are you, sir?
Good, thank you, committee. Bill Donnelly, 10-year resident in Port Monmouth. I'm here to ask you to consider, maybe after you, sure, yeah, thank you. Adjourn tonight and prepare agenda for future meetings to rescind, I believe it's 3510, the auction temporarily. I understand that there's budget implications and maybe there's still time to put it back on the agenda, but you've heard all the questions. I would argue to Mr. Maloney that if you did this 5 years ago, if that's the last time you did it, Middletown is very different than it was 5 years ago. And I don't think it's business as usual anymore as it was 5 years ago. These properties affect all different locations in Middletown, as you know, and you've heard the questions. We do know that in New Jersey, people build on wetlands, and wetlands mitigation is a thing. You've heard, where is the parking lot going? What's going to happen to the wildlife? What's going to happen to water and storm management? Those are all valid questions. When that came up, when you first addressed it in the May meeting, you asked for public comment, but I assume either the public wasn't here or wasn't aware of the agenda item and didn't ask any questions. When you adopted it in the following meeting, none of you asked any questions. I mean, these are valid questions, and you all take an oath to operate transparently. These are natural questions that I think committee members would have had. How did these get on the list? And do these 9 lots need to be on this list? What was the criteria for them? So if you were to rescind it and give time for public comment and more questions to be answered, many of the questions that were asked tonight, it still could come back on the agenda, maybe slightly different, maybe different lots, maybe consideration would be given to some of the concerns that were raised here, and you could still meet your objectives to sell some of these properties and cover the budget item that you've allocated for these funds. So that's what we're asking just for in terms of status. We formed an association that has people joining from all those different places that are impacted by the 9 lots that are in the auction in motion. We may hire an attorney, but I really do. Open space protection is not an adversarial issue. I know you've worked on that as a committee. The community has worked on that, so I don't think there's anything adversarial about it. It could be collaborative to just revisit why these properties, where are they, is it necessary for all of them to be there? What was the decision criteria for them to be on the list? That's all I have to say. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can I? Okay. I actually wanted to just start by a very late thank you.
Can you state your name for the record,
Oh, I'm
please?
so sorry about that. Tracy Lewis, 45 Maida Terrace. I want to say about 10 years ago, we had asked for a 4-way stop at Market in Patterson, and it actually took about 2 years. But you guys did it, and the kids are safer, so thank you very much for that. I have read Mrs. Bodman's will, and there are some small parcels of land. I was wondering, are any of those that are between the baseball fields and Navasink? And are any of those parcels going to be going up for auction?
So I just want to say one thing. I know that many residents have talked to Tony Mercantante about this. This past week, he's talked to a few of you. Several, I don't know if any of those individuals are here or not, but several have mentioned about a will and
I have a copy of it.
okay,
So,
if you could provide that
okay.
to Mr. Mercantante, because everybody that has talked to him about the will has said that these properties are protected. Now, what I can say is Mr. Nelson is charged with ensuring that with the title of these properties that they are not protected. Sometimes that gets recorded, sometimes that doesn't. If you have a will that specifically states that these,
Yeah, I went to, it was either Trenton or Freehold, probably
if
Freehold.
someone
yeah.
would like, because in Mr. Nelson's search, it does not come up,
Okay,
right? So, but if they are, I'll be the first one to make a motion to
okay.
get.
Because I know Bodman Park itself is also in that same will.
Correct.
So
And there's
if you,
and you can see the map.
List block and lot. Now, there will be the old block and lot numbers, so we have to dig back into the old tax records because all the block and lot numbers changed
okay.
in the 90s.
Is it-
So we'll have to go search it, but if you can leave a copy of it, we'll
Okay.
we'll take a look.
Because I did go on a bike ride and I, looked at where it was and it's like just vacant land that's left
In
there
the middle of a neighborhood.
in the middle of a neighborhood. So I wanted to just state something that actually happened. My family works with the Audubon Society and my father lives in West Long Branch. And there's pieces of property that he maintains. When the Home Depot was built, there was a lot of wildlife that was displaced. And he still maintains those pieces of property. I'm not sure how it would be set up so that everything could be safe, but I would love to see something like that be done with Mrs. Bodman's property, because she did clearly state that she wants it for recreational purposes. So, hopefully that could be done. And I did want to ask a question, if there was a legal way for a township to take a piece of property, if someone donates it in their will, that they're able to take that property and sell it.
Well,
Is there a way that
not-
they can do that?
I'm not a lawyer, but so I'll defer
Mr. Nelson?
I'll defer the actual question
Okay.
to Brian. But the one thing that I can say is when someone there are multiple ways that somebody can donate land. There are times when it's deeded and donated for the purposes of preservation. Bodman Park,
That was
where
recreation.
the recreation is now is deeded, along with several parcels along the front of Navesink River Road right there. Okay. So those are all deeded. They appear green on our maps, meaning that they are on our official ROSI, which is the category and catalog of preserved open space. When the township buys property, as Mr. Nelson alluded to, we're going to be announcing a large acquisition, hopefully very soon, that will be deeded because we used open space dollars for that. Sometimes people will donate land to nonprofits or organizations for the purpose of selling them so that the nonprofit can make money off of it. So it's not a yes or no answer, but it's got to be specifically, and Brian, correct me if I'm wrong, specifically said that this land is to be forever preserved for open space. Brian?
Yeah, no. it would
Okay,
have to
I
be a
don't
deed
think
Restriction.
80 years ago, they used the open space wording.
And
So,
this property, just see, this specific property you're talking about, this neighborhood, there's no Bodman's not in the title. It was Riverside Drive Land Company.
So, yeah, everybody, one at a time.
and someone that I spoke to today, their family owned Chris's Deli. And it like takes a special type of person to like lose millions of dollars and then sell your property or will your property for a very low price. And I respect those type of individuals do that. And I love what happened at Chris's Deli.
Yep.
So I'd love to see if something could be done to Mrs. Bodman's properties. And if you want to volunteer, I can help out.
Yeah, and just to be clear though, when the county did purchase those properties,
Yeah.
they're paid the fair market value for those properties. They're not. Sir,
Yeah.
so it's her time. You had your time. Let's be courteous and allow Ms. Lewis to speak. But they're paid their fair market value. When you sell it, we have to get an appraisal on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
You too. Thank you. Any other member of the, yes, sir. How are you today?
Doing good. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Keith Mandel. I'm in the Bodman Park area. Tony, appreciate all the correspondence this week and still look forward to the meeting on Friday to try and consolidate some of this for everyone to review. When talking to some of the neighbors that have been in that neighborhood for 50 plus years, they mentioned the Bodman deed and that there was an attempt to sell property back in 2008 that was ultimately paused and reverted based on the deed. And so naturally, it raises the question of, it sounds like some due diligence was done, but there was due diligence missed in 2008. Is there a way to procure documentation of the due diligence the town did to be able to sell the lots in question across all the lots that are going up for sale?
Well, I just, Tony, do you know, but.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, as has been stated, I've been here a long time and those long predate me. And I don't know, I haven't seen anything that specifies how those lots came to the township. Some of the ones clearly were Bodman properties because they were put on the ROSI that we're referring to, stands for Recreation and Open Space Inventory, which most towns have that. And once it's on there, basically you can never come off of it. So it's preserved forever. So some of the lots in the neighborhood, as the mayor mentioned, one's closer to Navasink River Road, and then a few others just polka dotted in the neighborhood, frankly, are come up as green properties that are preserved. All these do not. And, you know, I can't tell you specifically why, because someone would have to do a title search. But from what Mr. Nelson has found so far, those didn't seem to have Bodman in the title, in their history. So, but if we get the deed, I mean, the will, we'll definitely look at that. That might clear some things up. And hopefully if I get it soon, when we meet on Friday, we'll have more information for you.
No, I appreciate that. I think like it feels like the burden of obligations on the residents, and we just want to make sure the town has done the due diligence on the lots that are going up for sale, and based off of the precedent, just want to make sure that, you know, if there's a way to access the documents of the search that was done. Obviously, this is a passionate community. We want to make sure everything's up and up.
No.
And with the August 19th auction, that doesn't leave a lot of time. And August 12th, that leaves even less time.
No, it's the 19th.
Oh, it isn't it? Okay.
People can start submitting bids.
Correct, but it closes on the 19th.
So ultimately, and Tony, I'll ask this on Friday too, but I think the residents are asking for time to just ensure that the due diligence is done. We've cross-checked all historical records that we could access and, take it from there.
Tony will absolutely, I'll have Brian give Tony the title search information, which is the requirement for it, so that Tony has it for your meeting on Friday.
Perfect. That would be great. And I think another request, I don't know how this works, but maybe based off of, how important the open spaces are, irrespective of how they're designated, if there could be an actual township vote on selling off of those properties. I'm a lifelong resident of Monmouth County, across Little Silver, Red Bank, and now Middletown. We see it happening in other towns. It's doesn't feel like it's in the best interest of the residents in any
Here's
capacity.
the issue with that, though.
Yeah, please.
Here lives near those properties. If you put it up to a vote for the entire town, and you say, well, selling those properties could keep your tax increase down by, I don't know, 1% or 2%, whatever it is, you're going to get outvoted. Just because it's not in their neighborhood. So that's the problem with doing things like that. It becomes very parochial. Like, I want to protect my neighborhood, but people on the other side of town, they'll save the tax money rather than buy a lot next to your house. You know what I mean? So putting up to a vote sounds like a good idea, but it doesn't really make logical sense, and you probably would lose most cases.
So are we saying that the sale of this property will reduce our taxes and obligations?
What was mentioned earlier was
Yeah,
that
I
the
missed-
revenue from these sales was baked into the budget that was adopted, which kept the tax increase to a minimum. If we hadn't, it would have been higher. And it may be next year if they don't get sold.
One man's point of view, I'll take my chances in a townwide vote. I think people want to preserve this as opposed to continue to build and become, Morristown 2.0, which is, funnily enough, where a lot of the people moving in are coming in from North Jersey, Staten Island, overcrowded spaces, and just creating the same. And so just to put that out there in this public forum, that's all I had.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it.
You got it. Thank you. How are you?
Good. My name is Irene Rotolo Bailey. My family has been in the area since the 1950s. My grandmother came from Jersey City and she bought several properties, one on Port Monmouth Road. We were told most of our lives that the property behind us, 449 Port Monmouth Road, 447 was built in 1982, 449 was built in 2008, Rotolo Builders. We were told the property behind us was wetlands. We were told the property behind us would not be built on. We have 10 neighbors here this evening. 2 of them have drainage issues so bad that the water comes up and it approaches her foundation. I'm 1 house over. I don't have that problem. But 2 houses to my left, there are major drainage issues. Seabreeze Avenue, that whole section, it's all wet. It's all wetlands. And to top it off, there's standing water, and the Monmouth County Mosquito Control come and they test the waters. That's how much water there is. These people need help. I'm asking you, please help them.
Okay. Thank you very much for your comments. Any other member of the public? Yes, sir. How are you, sir?
Joe Gangemi, 14 Market Street. So I'm with the Bodman crew here. A lot of the sentiments that I have already been spoken about by my neighbors, but I just had a couple of additional ones that I wanted to voice. I can't make that meeting with you on Friday, so I just wanted to let these be heard. When I purchased my home almost 8 years ago to the day, for what it's worth, I was told that those lands directly next to my house were protected and could not be built on. From a tax and investment in building on that property standpoint, if there were to be houses built there, there would have to be some burden on taxpayers for plumbing, water, all those types of purposes, which would offset, I believe, any savings in tax that are being proposed by,
The township wouldn't pay for those.
so if you're talking about drainage that has Township of Middletown stamped on it, and you're building new houses, that would not require more drainage, more plumbing, more Township of
Anybody
Middletown
that
water
wanted to,
services.
anyone that would want to build on that, if they were successful and the township were to accept it, would be responsible for the payment of including that in there.
All right, I'll pull that one off then. But aside from that, from a safety perspective, on the street, I don't know if you have ever been up and down Market Street, or the surrounding streets when there is a baseball game or a 5K. People are parking well back beyond my house. The addition of new properties on that house would just congest the area much more, making it less safe for my children. I have a 12 and 9-year-old. One of them was here dancing for you the other day with the Daily Irish Dance team. So the idea of a disruption of the neighborhood or going to the park down the street because of the addition of new properties on the street is just not something I feel that would be, in the best interest of the neighborhood.
Yeah, been many times for many baseball games, good and bad baseball games. The one thing that I would say is we are actually working currently. We have an effort in the works to renovate the park maintenance buildings that are over at Bodman, and work to incorporate more parking over there to try and alleviate the very parking issue that that neighborhood has, given all the baseball games and recreational activities that occur over there. Just as a side note.
Okay. But the parks are a different safety, the Parks Department is a different safety concern because they fly around up and down my street all day and night, but that's for a separate discussion. And then the other piece of this just related to potentially adding new properties in the neighborhood. There's just with the amount of construction, maybe not directly related to Middletown, but right in Red Bank across the bridge, the apartment buildings there, the apartment buildings by the train station, there's an influx of just available places to live. The idea of selling these off for, even if they're single family homes, just doesn't seem like it would be, something that the town or the neighborhood needs at this moment. So it's just not something that, not something that I think is in the best interest while you're collecting tax dollars, I'm sure. It doesn't seem like it would benefit anyone in this room at the moment from any type of savings or any of the other concerns that I had or the other neighbors of mine have already raised.
Understood. Thank you very much for your comments, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Any other member of the public Any other member of the public? Okay, I want to just say thank you to everybody. I appreciate the conversation and the dialogue. Obviously, I think some information that might not have been available hopefully has become available, that Mr. Nelson provided and Tony provided. But I just want to say thank you very much for the consistent and courteous dialogue. Appreciate that amongst all the residents, and certainly be following up with some of you with regard to that. And I know Tony's meeting with a few of you on Friday. So seeing no other member of the public stepping forward, I'll move to close the public portion and adjourn.
Second.
Committeewoman Kratz.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hybel.
Yes.
Mayor Perry.
Yes.
Motion carries to adjourn.
Have a good night, everybody. Thank you all.